Yeah, hello. I need to check in. Can someone help me? Also, I think I need a wake-up call.
Glenn, you're at home. You live here. I'm your wife.
Do you live, eat, and sleep the hotel industry? Looking to brush up on your game? You've come to the right place. Welcome to No Vacancy, the hospitality industry's #1 podcast, with your host, Glenn Hausman.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the No Vacancy podcast with me, your host, Glenn Hausman. Man, am I excited to have you guys here with me each and every week. Seriously, when you put this show on and you're listening to it, it makes me so happy, all right? I don't know when you're actually listening to it, but I see the download numbers. I hear the people coming up to me and saying that you listen to the show. So from the bottom of my heart, I really so appreciate the support and the love that I am getting here for delivering to you what I hope are great interviews that are going to help educate, empower, and entertain you each and every week. Remember, your trip is short, so blaze on. All right, I'm excited today. But before I really get into everything and some of the shameless pitches that I have, I did want to complain a little today about what I've been seeing out there in the news and the major media. No, this is not politically related, so do not freak out. We're not going to piss off half of our audience here, but what we are going to do is we are going to talk a little bit about LaGuardia Airport and how they are building a brand new airport on top of an old, decrepit, disgusting, pathetic, embarrassing airport in the New York City over here where I live. I get to go to LaGuardia often, although I spend most of my time flying out of JFK. But whenever I'm at LaGuardia, I'm actually fascinated by watching this new airport shape on the other. And this week in the media, there was a big announcement that Delta opened brand new terminals C and D. Brand new, all new, brand new, yay, billions of dollars. But that was a complete and utter mischaracterization of what happened. And it really upset me. It really frustrates me because I see this problem that a lot of journalists out there, and I use air quotes with journalists out there because they're not really journalists anymore. A lot of people are just take information and recycle it, and it becomes a game of telephone, and everything starts to become confused, and everything becomes not very accurate, and I find it extremely frustrating. Why? Because Delta did not, in any circumstance, open a brand new Delta terminal. I was just there last week. And I'll tell you something, that brand new terminal isn't even completely vertical yet. They are still building the framework of this building. Now, what they did do and what they did open is in this construction process, what they're doing is they got rid of all the parking lots that used to be in front of the terminals, between the terminal and between a highway that's out there. So they got rid of those parking lots, built some parking garages. Now they're building the terminals on the remaining space that they have left. And one place, if you're looking north at LaGuardia Airport, on the far east side of the airport was an empty strip of land. And what they did is they built part of the new terminal, what we colloquially call a concourse, in that area with 7 gates. The new Delta terminals are going to have 30 plus gates. I think 34, 37, somewhere in that range. I don't remember the exact number. So what happened is they opened up 7 gates, 7 new gates, and they're treating it as if it was a brand new terminal that opened. Well, I got to tell you, that terminal's not opening for another 2.5, 3 years. I can see the construction that's happening. So that sort of freaks me out, and it is absolutely annoying. I see the same thing happening at theme parks all the time. For example, when Galaxy's Edge opened up this summer in both California's Disneyland and at Walt Disney World in Florida, they kept calling it a Star Wars theme park. Star Wars theme park. Star Wars theme park. Well, gosh, if I had my head in the sand and I thought there was a new Star Wars theme park, I would probably hop on an airplane and go and visit that darn thing. But the truth is, it's not a theme park. It's just a brand new land, and it's not even a fully complete land because it has one ride, one restaurant, that's really just a bar, and a whole lot of shopping opportunities. A theme park is a theme park when it has lots of lands, lots of rides, lots of food, lots of entertainment, not one ride, and not one bar, with lots of opportunities to drop hundreds of dollars on things that you don't actually need to buy. So this really frustrates me, and it's kind of obnoxious, and it's kind of annoying. So what I want all of you folks to do is really be cognizant of this, especially if you're talking to folks in the media at your hotels, that things could be easily misconstrued, because a lot of folks today just simply aren't paying attention or are rehashing other people's work to make it seem as if it's their work, and through a horrific game of telephone, nothing seems to work out. All right, complaining done. What I want to do now is get you excited about something. I want you all to reshape your expectations of what an FF&E distribution partner for hospitality should be. And that is why Almo Hospitality must be, nay, not just should be, must be your go-to partner to simplify FF&E deployments for the guest room and beyond, with industry-leading brands, the latest hospitality trends, and distinctive new-to-market brands. These guys are great. Last week, I was at their event in Hilton Head, South Carolina. I'd never been to Hilton Head before. Man, that was so much fun being down there in a new place. I'm so tired of going to the same 5 cities all the time. This was exciting. Nothing personal, Las Vegas. I still love you. I will see you later this month. I will see you in December. Do not fret. Anyway, be sure to check out Almo Hospitality. I mean, if you want, go check out their pages right now on Facebook and LinkedIn. We put up a great interview on their social media pages with Jonas Tannenbaum of Samsung, talking about how digital signage can help you in your lives better. We've spoken to Yanni Deris over at Cirque Plus about how you guys could save money by helping guests be more interactive with the property and also cutting energy costs. We've spoken to the great folks over at Nonstop about how you can have design-forward charging solutions that are wireless. We've spoken to the folks over at Agio about their Cape Soleil line of outdoor furniture, which is hitting the market by storm. Lots of great stuff. Go check out the Almo Hospitality pages on LinkedIn and Facebook for more. Check them out at hospitality.almoproav.com. Okay, so you guys know that this is not my only podcast series. We do a whole bunch of them here at the No Vacancy Network, and I'm very, very excited and proud that I'm going to be participating in HX, the Hotel Experience, powered by AHOA, on November 10th and 11th. So we'll be recording the Check-In In with Anthony and Glenn show at booth 1529 right there on the show floor on both Sunday and Monday from mid to late morning. We'll probably have a little lunch break and then be around all afternoon recording those shows. You know, there's only so many hours in a day that we could record content, but we will try to put up a schedule at the booth, and I'll try to let you guys know in next week's show what that schedule is like. It's still coming together. Also on Monday at noon, myself and the one and only, the infamous Mr. Bruce Ford are going to be doing a discussion on the hotel industry pipeline, where we're going, where we see it, all of that kind of good stuff. Lots of rich data from Bruce, and what is sure to be a good sparring match between Bruce and I as we try to be the smartest one in the room. All right, I have no chance against Bruce Ford, but I'm going to try. So register right now for the HX conference. You can find that at thehotelexperience.com, thehotelexperience.com, or better yet, I've got a number of free passes over here. So if you want to get in free, drop me a note. You can find me at glenn@rouse.media. Find me at glenn@rouse.media, or I'll tell you what, I'll give away a couple of passes to people that like my Facebook page, that follow us on LinkedIn between now and next Friday. How's that sound? Between now and Friday the 15th. Nope, Friday the 8th. If we went through Friday the 15th, the show would be over. Friday, November 8th. If you get me, if you like our page, if you are on Facebook, if you follow us on LinkedIn, we will give you an opportunity to get some free tickets to the hotel experience. I like that. A little something for me while helping you guys out. All right, so today we got a really good show. I know I say that every week, but it really is. I get to speak to so many freaking cool people. I just can't get over it. All right. A little too much coffee this morning. Okay, so the first segment, we're going to be talking to Michal and Eugene of Pips and Bounce, which is an interesting concept to me. It's all about ping pong, and we talk about how they turn their love of ping pong into a viable business. And why are we featuring this on the show? Because each and every one of you should be thinking about creative ideas to drive business to your hotels from the local community, from businesses within the area. Michal and Eugene have got a great concept, so I wanted to highlight that for you. And then after the commercial break, We've got a great interview with Jenna Hackett, who is the global head of the Curio collection and the Tapestry collection by Hilton. I think you'll enjoy those interviews. I know I had a fun time doing them. I know I'm having a great time doing this show. So please, if you're not getting our Sunday night newsletter, text the word hotel to 66866 right now and subscribe. That's the word hotel to 66866. And of course, check us out at novacancynews.com. That's it for me now. This has all been wonderful, and I'm on my way because it's time to let you hear from Michal and Eugene. Enjoy. See you next time. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the No Vacancy Podcast. It's me, Glenn Hausman. Happy to have you here and listening to our show. Now, as you know, I've been bouncing all around the country all summer long, having a lot of great experiences. And, I said bouncing on purpose. It's a horrible pun, but that's okay. Stick with me because I've got a couple of people that are called Pongtrepreneurs, and they've got a great place out in Portland, Oregon called Pips and Bounce. And I want to welcome to the show Mr. Michal Jung and Eugene Jung. Gentlemen, how are you two today?
Hey, it's great to be here with you.
Hey, great to have you guys here today. All right, so let me just throw this out there. One of the things that I love to do is find interesting and unique concepts out there that kind of pull people together. You folks, you two guys, not only your brothers but your business partners here. You're focused on a place that's exclusively dedicated to ping pong. Of course, you're selling lots of food and beverages to back it up. What an interesting idea. I'm getting a feeling that ping pong is making a big comeback. I recall back in the 1970s, I think it was almost required that we all had ping pong tables in the house. I love the game, but realized I couldn't compete against those amazing athletes I would watch on Chinese television, for example. You guys seem to be hardcore about this. Let's start with Eugene. Eugene, how did you all get into ping pong, and how did it become part of your entire life here?
I mean, ping pong was part of my earliest memories as a person growing up. We grew up in Kentucky, tiny small town, Appalachia, Eastern Kentucky.
Wow.
And there was, let's just say, a limited amount of family things to do outside of eating and watching a movie.
Right. Yeah.
Or walking in a mall.
Well, you know what? I grew up here. I'm recording this in Long Island. I grew up on Long Island. You know what? We had the same exact problem. I feel like every family conversation is, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? So, right? So you guys are stuck with that same kind of scenario all the time. Please continue, Eugene.
Right. And then, I don't know how one way or another that my dad has had this fantastic idea to just put a ping pong table in our basement, which had all the wrong dimensions and corners and ceilings and walls to put a ping pong table, but managed to put in the ping pong table. And I think that is a lot of people's stories of a ping pong table in their house.
Right. And Michal, you guys are brothers, so I'm sure that you guys kind of pushed each other to play all the time to see who could probably reign supreme in your house.
If you asked our mom, Glenn, I think she would tell you that 9 times out of 10 that when she called us up to dinner, we would have to yell, one more game, or after this one. It was just this nonstop rivalry. And let me clarify, we're not like competitive athletes in the classical trained sense, but we are hyper-competitive brothers when it comes to ping pong. And the best part about this is that of the roughly 10,000 times we've probably played, I've won like twice. But it doesn't keep it from being fun because you never know when that third one is coming.
Wow, I'm surprised that you didn't just. I'm surprised that you didn't quit. And you've got decades to try to get this third win. In Eugene, how much fun is it constantly beating up on your brother?
Oh, endless. I mean, I've been with him all my life, and I still continue to enjoy beating him.
Right. That's excellent. So, Michal, now that you guys have your own place dedicated to ping pong, it seems to me, I bet, that you could probably get out there at Pips and Bounce and, play a lot of other people so you could really get your skill set up so you could teach Eugene a lesson finally.
Glenn, at the end of the day, I think what it really boils down to is that this is the way that my brother and I connected as kids.
Yep.
This is the way that, we stay in touch on a very deep and sort of nostalgic level. Mm-hmm. And it's really not about winning or losing as much as it is about just staying with each other.
Right.
And that's what we do with, with all our customers. Our mission is to just get people to put their phones down, look at each other face to face, and create a moment in real time.
Beautiful. I love that. And speaking of moments in real time, I have to go back to the 70s. I am a singleton, the fancy new word for being an only child. So I would have to do that move where I'd fold the ping pong table up and then have to play against myself. So it was sad because, like, every single match was a tie. Nobody won. Nobody lost. It was really extremely disappointing. But something that's not disappointing is that you guys now are creating this this business. You've been open for a while now, and Mike, man, you totally hit it on it. All about putting those phones down, making real connections with real people. Are people actually able to stop looking at their technology and connect over reality for once in a while?
The amazing thing is that you'll come in on a busy night at Pips and Bounce. There's 100, 200 people at the club. And you look up and down, and the only phones you see out are the ones being used to take pictures or video.
That's
no
amazing.
One's dialed out. Everyone's in the moment. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think we need all of that. Eugene, was that something that you expected when you started this business, that you would actually be doing society a great favor by getting people to stop being connected all the time in the virtual world and start connecting in the real one?
Yeah, it was when we actually had no idea what to expect. This is not really a proven business concept. This is pretty much a new business concept.
Right.
But it was one of our bullet points to, when we wanted to create our image, our brand, our marketing is to, it's the nostalgia. It's the authentic, original social media of talking to each other, eating, having a good time with your friends and family. So that was one of our bullet points. And as we opened our business and as time has progressed, that bullet point has definitely been achieved where people are actually putting their phones down. And it's like the good old days of your basement back in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, it really is. And speaking of the 70s and 80s, I'm also seeing bowling alleys make a huge comeback in a fun, different kind of 21st century sort of a way. And pool halls as well are kind of doing that same thing. Everybody's trying to reinvent what was, pretty normal behavior in the 70s and 80s for that 2020s as we're approaching already. So I'm curious as to what made you think that something dedicated to ping pong was going to be a viable business opportunity, and has it worked out in the way that you expected?
Glenn, a great story that captures this, because it's a really good question, is that we started throwing pop-up ping pong parties, and a lot of it was just for fun because we just wanted to play ping pong again, and we thought maybe other people might want to do that too. So we did a couple of pop-up ping pong parties. It was sort of like this random. You never knew where we were going to be, when we were going to pop up. We tweeted out, and just sort of like a ping pong rave, or like a food truck of ping pong or something, right? And it was a lot of fun, and people were having a good time.
Although I would like to see a lot of people on MDMA playing ping pong. Hey, great shot, man!
And then
they'll just be in the corner cuddling the balls because they like the sensation as opposed to playing. Sorry, too many ping pong rave jokes. Go on, Mike.
It must have been like, what, Eugene, the fourth or fifth party where we were approached, and someone asked us, hey, would you throw a ping pong party for us? And we said, we could pop up a ping pong party for you. Who are you?
Right.
We're Adidas.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Interesting. Their America's headquarters is here in Portland. And we said, awesome. Interesting. And they said, how much do you charge?
You're like, charge? What? Is it business?
And it was like a Dr. Evil moment, $1,000, And they didn't flinch, and they said, great, where do we send the check? And suddenly we needed a post office box, and we needed a bank account, and suddenly it was a business. And we realized that the art of bringing together people is great as individuals, as families, but it's also really valuable for corporations or organizations.
Right. And this, hoteliers, is why I wanted to feature the good Jung brothers here from Pips and Browns, because really it's all about putting people together and letting them enjoy themselves, right? You as hoteliers are there to set the stage for people to create their own experiences, and I think this is the perfect way to do it. And the thing that really is exciting to me is that you've created something that's great for corporations and other types of groups. Pretty awesome, Eugene.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of echo what Mike was saying, we kind of organically figured out what would work. I mean, we knew. I mean, we don't have a background of working in the restaurant or working in the industry. None of us have probably served a cocktail drink in our lives before Pips and Bounce. None of us has really served food to the masses. So by that accord, like, we were just wildly unexperienced in this industry. But what we did know, and what is kind of the fulcrum of our business, is we wanted to kind of give the coolest, best ping pong experience that no one else has ever experienced. And in a lot of respects, not many people have an awesome ping pong experience. It's usually two locations: your basement or your garage. There's never been a bar or a public space that's not super competitive or ultra going by the skills and playing in tournaments. So we want to build something for the everyone, which includes me and Mike.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So how did you put this whole thing together? How did you find the confidence to actually do the food and beverage? And how did you make sure that it didn't suck? Because I think a lot of times people get involved in either bars or restaurants because they like eating and drinking, but they don't understand how businesses operate, in particular within those categories.
I'll say it's a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of learning, on the job. But that's the fun of it, is that Eugene and I, neither of us could have done this alone. And doing this together really reflects what we're doing. We're creating a community just between the two of us. We've created a community with the people that, work in our establishment. They've got great ideas too. We certainly don't have a monopoly on it. I'd say we probably knew like 60% of what we needed when we got started. But we had to fill in the other 40%, and that was a team effort, not just, my brother and I. And then our customers, they've given us great ideas too. And they come together and they have a ton of fun, but they have thoughts on how they could have even more fun. And when they share it with us, we learn from them. So we're always listening, always evolving. When we open the doors at Pips and Bounce in Portland, I think we can safely say that it's, a minimum viable product. It is probably about as small as you would ever want to go. And it's pretty bare bones because we bootstrapped it. We bet our nest eggs, and we kind of just, scrapped together money. We did a Kickstarter to close the final gap.
Awesome.
And even then, it was just barely enough to get up and running.
Wow.
But it was a leap of faith, and that's, how a lot of great ideas get started. And then, do we know 100% of what we need to know? No. Where I'd say we're still learning.
That's awesome.
We're going to be opening more locations. We're going to be doing it with, new people and new places. And there's still a lot more to learn. And I think that's the key to really being successful in our experiences, that open-mindedness, that willingness to learn, that, courage to make mistakes, but that ambition to learn from those mistakes.
Ah, man, that is such a beautiful thing. The courage to make mistakes, man. That is such a great way to put it. But you've also got to have the guts. I mean, this isn't just like, a small investment. You both bet your life savings on it. Where did you guys get the guts to actually make that sort of move? Because so many people in life are held up by that fear of failure and will do anything they can to protect what they have, as opposed to making that big play for something bigger.
I'll go first and you can go second, Huge. This is really personal. I gave it a 50-50 chance when we got started, and that was pretty optimistic, honestly. And I told my wife, I said, hey, if this fails, and it very well might, at least our kids will get to see Daddy get back up and brush it off and move on. And I think that was, that had a value to me as well. The ability to, to watch your parent fail and rebound, get back up. I thought that, that would have some value too, even if I'd have to work for another couple of decades. I agree, Mike.
Not to cut you off, but I think that's really a great point also to underscore out there. We have such a focus on success in our culture that sometimes we don't realize that we can learn from failure too. And failure is not a dirty word. So good for you taking that chance in that particular way. What else did you want to add?
I just want to say, and it's not all courage. It's not all vision and dreams. A lot of it is just being stupid.
Right.
And that is something that, we're particularly good at, is just making stupid decisions because, hey, no one else has done it before. Why would we be the ones to figure it out? I don't know. Let's just try it.
Right. Excellent. How about you, Eugene?
I think for me, when when did this idea originate, Mike? In like 2012?
13, 12, yeah, maybe 12, late 2012, perhaps.
So it's been 7 years. I was, working in big corporate America in New York City.
Right.
Getting paid really well, working a great job, having security, enjoying the New York City life and what it has to offer. But I kind of realized the last 2 or 3 years I was living there, I was just living there to work.
Right.
And the New York lifestyle, at least from what I remember, if you don't try to do something, getting out of the city or move on your life in a snap of a finger, it'll be another 10 years we'll be in the city doing the same thing. And Mike lived in Portland. I lived in New York. And I distinctly remember when Mike was visiting, I think for work-related reasons, to New York City, he stayed with me. And, we're not the brothers that we would go to a bar, have a drink, catch up. We kind of want to do something. And ping pong is just that was just our thing growing up. So we always try to find a ping pong place. So, the lightning or the light bulb moment was Mike was like, we found a ping pong place in New York. We played, caught up. Mike's like, why doesn't a place like in Portland have this? I was like, I don't know. I've never been to Portland.
Right. Right.
And that was, I think, the first dialogue where we went down this path of starting a ping pong business.
Okay.
And it evolved over time. And, and I told Mike, it's like, okay, we've done our pop-up parties. We've done all this. We look for a space. If we sign the lease, I will quit my job and I will move out there cross country and go all in.
Wow.
For this.
I think he just wanted an excuse to ride his motorcycle across the country, honestly.
Yeah, and I hear you just got back from a ride to Alaska, Eugene, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, living in the Pacific Northwest, it's so close to Alaska compared to being in New York State. So had the opportunities, went for it. Kind of like Pips Abound. Opportunity there, and we just went for it.
Wow.
I think it's safe to say that we both have appetites for adventures, whether they be personal, business, physical, whatever it might be.
All right. So the one thing I just do not understand at all about this, Eugene, is how did you give up New York bagels, pizza, and Chinese food?
Okay. So good story is when I first moved to Portland.
Yeah.
I was asking Mike, I was like, okay, everyone goes to restaurants, what good to eat? And I'm like, okay, let's order seamless. Mm-hmm. Mike was like, what's seamless? And I'm like, wait a second. I moved out here and there's no seamless? Am I going to regret this move? But, I found one place that kind of has New York style pizza. It's about as close as it can probably get. Chinese food, still haven't found that. Bagels, no, you can't replace.
No, I remember I went to University of Maryland, and there was a bagel joint across from the campus that trucked in their water from New York, so it would have that New York bagel feeling. Yeah. Right?
Man, that's dedication.
Maybe that's a concept we could all work together on in the future. All right, so back to ping pong. So how does it all work? How for what length of time do people typically come in? Are you finding that they're eating and drinking because you've got a rotating selection of beers, you've got craft cocktails, you've got all of those things that speak Portland to me, plus this extra Portlandy thing of having the ping pong.
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say, there's kind of two ways that people find us. One is that they just kind of stumble in as a walk-in customer. Mm-hmm. And there's no planned reservation. Half the time they're on their way somewhere else and they walk by and they say, wait a second, is this a ping pong place? And they just walk in spontaneously.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We love that because that's how life, ought to be, spontaneous and fun. And so for those opportunities, we have a walk-in rate. It's ping pong by the half hour, and we price it per table because we believe the more the merrier. And usually people, play for a while, then they'll eat for a while, then they'll drink for a while, then they'll play for a while again because somebody lost, somebody won, they want a rematch. And so this virtuous cycle, starts up. The other way people comment upon us is because there's some sort of organized private event.
Right.
And they'll be, invited in by their boss. And a lot of the time they'll think, wait a second, another team building thing and another offsite location. This is going to be super lame and boring. And they walk in and their eyes are like, what is this? This is awesome. This is the best offsite ever. And a lot of times they'll say, hey, I've got a date night coming up next week.
Right.
Can I book a table in advance? And then sometimes the date night people come in and they're hitting around, and then one of them says, hey, I've got this offsite I have to organize next month.
Awesome.
Do you guys, book rooms? And so this kind of nice sort of feedback loop starts where people come in as individuals or people come in through organized events, and one usually leads to the other, leads to the other, leads to the other.
Beautiful. I love it. Seems like a fun and interesting business model. And again, creating that sense of community, getting people to interact with each other. And it's all about setting the stage for their experiences, their creation of those memories that are going to create those good vibes, increase that brand affinity, and help, I think, you two in particular be incredibly successful as you continue to build this business in other locations. What am I missing, guys? Eugene, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you feel that we need to make sure we get out there?
Well, I think there's one story kind of comes to my mind, after hearing what Michael speak is, we hold a lot of private parties for corporations and offices and whatnot here in Portland. And we had this one party where, it was a complete buyout. They bought out our whole space. So all the employees and staff members came in. And, it was the CEO all the way down to, I don't know, probably down to the most junior level staff members. And the great thing about ping pong, it just breaks down all the barriers, all the titles. It doesn't matter who you are, who's across the table from you. And we had this one person came up to me and he was like, I am the CEO of this company. And
I think he was a founder.
Oh, founder. Yeah. Owner, founder, whatever. And he's like, I just played one of my staff members. And, in the office, we never really talk. There's really nothing for us to kind of go over. Right. I know he transfer works for me, but there's really no lines of communication in the office. They came to Pips and Bounce, and they just had a blast. And he's like, I've just never had, I can't think of an outing or an event that we've done over all the years that I've been able to kind of just hit with anybody and anybody in my office. And to me, that was a really touching story because that's what kind of ping pong is about. For personal, for work, it doesn't matter who you are. You're just having a good time with somebody else. And you get to learn new things that you probably wouldn't have known otherwise.
Right. Yeah. And again, that says it all. So what it's doing is by having a fun activity, you're releasing everybody from the constraints of the offices, and it lets people be people and interact like human beings. So by you setting the stage through creating this ping pong experience with great food and drink that goes along with it, I think it's the perfect combination to, again, create that sense of community, bond people together, make them feel like they're all on the same team, even as they compete against each other. And I think it's really great for organizations and individuals as well. Before we go, guys, I would love for you to give some amazing, shameless plugs about how we could find you and anything else that you want to add.
Well, Glenn, it's interesting. Your audience is hoteliers, as you mentioned, and we're actually in talks with a business that has a hotel that they're actually looking to put a great retail tenant into. And as they put it, they said, "Listen, we could put in a bar, a grill, or a pub, but very few people are going to remember that particular bar, grill, or pub when they visit our hotel. We want you because people are going to make memories, and they're going to connect that to our hotel." And so I think there's a really awesome fit between hotel experiences, travel experiences, group experiences, and ping pong experiences that might not seem obvious at first, but the way you can make things really inclusive, engaging, it really speaks to people. And I think that there's a natural connection between what we're doing and your audience, that's listening in.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I wanted to have you guys on the show today, because of that strong connection. It's great to see that hoteliers are already on to what you guys are doing, because I, too, personally think that this is a great idea for folks to put into hotels instead of doing what every other hotel out there is doing. This is a much better way for you to engage your guests, engage the local community, and create something fun, different, and unique. Now, Eugene, we haven't gotten that shameless plug yet. How can we find Pips and Bounce?
Yeah, we are on 833 Southeast Belmont, or as we would like to say here, Southeast Portland. Find us on social media. We're on the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're all on the channels. And, I think the best part about is, people are starting to get to know us. I'm starting to hear pips and bounce on the streets. People are starting to wear T-shirts and hats, and hopefully we can expand it beyond Portland. And, ping pong's for everyone to enjoy. So we're trying to bring it out to the masses. And it all starts here in Southeast Portland.
Great. And if you want to find these guys, you can reach out directly to them, pipsandbounce.com, or just send us a note here at the No Vacancy Podcast. Of course, you can find me at Traveling Glenn, or just drop me an email, glenn@rouse.media, or find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all of those social media sites. Guys, it was absolutely fabulous having both of you here today. I wish you lots of success in the future, and I hope you open lots more places. And hopefully, finally, one day, I'll have somebody to play ping pong against instead of being all alone, lonely little 8-year-old Glenn in my basement. Thanks, guys, for being here, and I want to thank everyone for listening to this segment, because stick around, because we got another great segment coming right up after this, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, Glenn here. So listen, a while back, I told you about the Red Collection. You know what I'm talking about. Red Roof's soft brand that was developed after comprehensive research into what today's travelers truly desire. It's offering you a great opportunity to affordably expand your portfolio in the heart of cities you love. Well, for a limited time, that opportunity is now miles beyond affordable, because why? Red Roof is offering free royalties. Not for 1, not for 2, not even for 3 or 4, but for 5 years to qualified franchisees completing an application by the end of 2019. That's December 31st, 2019. You don't want to be ringing in 2020 without completing that application, do you? No, you do not. So the Red Collection is a fast-growing group of upper mid-scale unique hotels, each inspired by their city's vibe and culture. What's more, every property has its own distinctive name, customized property enhancement plan, and brand standards based on consumer wants rather than silly design mandates. And because of all of this is backed by Red Roof, you're going to gain the advantage of their owner-operated perspective, as well as a loyalty rewards program with more than 3 million members, which just happens to be the richest in class, yet the least expensive for franchisees just like you. Plus, you'll be working with a company with franchisee satisfaction at 90%. So to learn more about 5 years royalty-free with the Red Collection, contact Matt Hostetler. You know Matt. He's Red Roof's Senior VP of Development and Franchising. So call Matt Hostetler today. Give him a ring, 713-576-7426. That's 713-576-7426. Or email him at mhostetler. That's MHOSTETLER at redroof.com. And of course, tell him Glenn sent you. I have no real preconceived notions about it, but don't worry. It's all good.
Yeah.
I just want to be curious and just learn. And
how many of these have you done?
How many what?
How many of these type of interviews do you think you've done?
How many of these have I done?
Yeah, like interviews.
Today or
no,
general?
In general.
I don't know, thousands. So.
Do you have the most memorable?
Do I have one that's most memorable?
Yeah.
I do have a couple that are most memorable. One I think would be Mike Levin,
Mm-hmm.
which was really awesome. I did in my old show before I started the No Vacancy Company and all. That was really amazing because I got to really learn about how he was like a civil rights activist and all these things that I didn't realize about him that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've spoken to just so many great people, and I'm just really, really fortunate. But I know that this is going to be the most memorable interview of them all. Are you ready, Jeff? Hey everybody, Glenn Hausman here, the No Vacancy Podcast, and I'm excited to have each and every one of you here with me. And I'm super excited right now because I got Jenna Hackett, and she is with Hilton. She's running the Curio and Tapestry brands. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It is so exciting to have you on the show. We have never done an interview together before.
I know.
This is crazy.
Yes.
So, usually I like to make people feel really super uncomfortable the first time I talk to them, but I'm not going to do that with you today. I'm going to spare you until we get to know each other a little bit. Then I'm going to give you a really hard time. But I think one of the first things I'd like to say is congratulations. You're now running the 2 brands instead of 1, and you have been on a tear since joining Hilton in 2011. Promotion. You're crushing it out there. How do you do that?
No, we have so many great leaders within Hilton. We have so many great opportunities. And I think about people that have been on your show. Diana Vaughn. She started Curio collection, and I've grown with her, and just so many great opportunities that have come my way.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the differences between Tapestry and Curio, because I kind of feel like I know what they are, but then I lose confidence.
Yeah, so the collections have really exploded when you think about the idea of these independent experiences.
Right.
And if you think about the foundation themselves, both collections get the opportunity to connect to what we're calling the Hilton engine.
Right.
So when you think about the 94 million honors members, we're nearing 100 this year, and you think about the Hilton engine around sales, marketing, IT, you get all of that. Hilton supply management.
Right.
But then you get to keep your own independent identity. Right. So that foundation is the same. But with Curio collection in that upper upscale space, we really are looking more at the refined finishes. When you think about food and beverage and that curation and that all-encompassing feel when you get to a hotel or a resort in those prime locations, urban destinations, prime resorts. And Tapestry collection plays when it's not, maybe you might be city center, so you might be that urban destination, but you can have scaled back F&B because everybody wants to go out and go to a great restaurant. If you think about the Graham, it's a great example for Tapestry collection in Georgetown.
Right.
It has a speakeasy downstairs where they serve breakfast, and then you have the rooftop. People can get a drink, they can get small plate, but then they want to go out, and then there's a rooftop afterwards to see the great views.
Right.
So really allows for those differences.
Yeah, that's great. I'm seeing a lot of companies right now have brands that kind of have the same soul, but they express themselves in a different way depending on whether or not they're designed for the urban markets or outside the market. So it's a smart kind of strategy, I think, to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I think what's so great is that because these hotels are independent in their identity, it's really about the hotel, what that identity is, whether it's that urban experience or if it's maybe Savannah versus we have Tailwater in Altmar, New York in Tapestry collection, and that is north of Syracuse. So it's a wilderness centered hotel, and they have great experiences with fishing, snowshoeing.
Wow. This is breaking news for me because I didn't know there was anything in New York above Westchester County.
I know. You have to go check it out.
I'm definitely going to do that, being that I am a New York guy and stuff like that. That does sound like something that's up my alley. So what's it like now for you having both these brands under your stewardship?
So it's a great opportunity in terms of looking at both collections because of that foundation. We're offering that same opportunity to owners. But we also then can really look to, as we continue to expand the collections, really to keep defining what each is.
Right.
And with Curio Collection, we're going to be 100 hotels next year.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And not just next year, but early next year.
Yes.
Because I want to say, as we're recording this in late September, that's just a couple of few months away.
Yes, so true. And we're in over 20 countries already and continuing to grow. And with Tapestry Collection, we really focus on launching in the U.S. when we launched in early 2017, and now we're growing into the Americas. We've announced hotels like in Bermuda, which will open early next year as well, and that's a great opportunity for the Hilton family to gain a hotel in a new country.
In Bermuda?
In Bermuda. We don't have
Where in Bermuda? I love that
country. It's right on the coast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pause that.
All right, so we don't know exactly where it is. Do you know where it is? If you don't, it's all right. I'll just fake it. All right, we're gonna start again.
Where is the beach that everybody talks about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and
what bay?
Horseshoe.
Half Moon Bay. It's near Half Moon Bay.
Okay, let's start that over.
Okay.
In 3, 2. All right, I love Bermuda. Such a great place. Do you have any idea where it is in Bermuda?
It's near Half Moon Bay.
Oh, cool. That is
right on the beach.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
I love that place. So how cool is that you guys are going to be in Bermuda, which I love. And for those of you who haven't been to Bermuda, you've got to go there. It's like crazy clean, like Disney World, but you don't have long lines to get on rides. It's just so much fun, that place.
And it's so close to the United States.
Oh, my
God. It's an easy flight.
Especially as a New York dude. I'm down there in like an hour and a half or something.
Yes, there's a direct.
Yeah. And it's really great. If you go down there in the summer, it's really, really amazing. I just love going to Bermuda, and you get to spend some time down there.
Yes,
How lucky are you?
Yes.
I was down there. Last November for a conference, and I just have such a wonderful time every time I'm down there. The people there are absolutely spectacular. Enough about Bermuda. Where else are you excited about opening properties?
Ooh, we have many to come. So within both collections, we just opened for Tapestry Collection, a hotel in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, which is called the Wilbur. And that one's exciting because
never pronounced it that way growing up. I had a different way of pronouncing it.
How did you pronounce it?
Littitz. Of course. But Lidditz, I never heard it pronounced that way.
This adaptive reuse, though, is an old chocolate factory. So that's a really great addition. Yes.
An old chocolate factory?
Again, great example of a location that wouldn't be Curio, but great history, really cool design.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend people who, especially that live in that area, to go check it out. Changing the community. And then we're also opening the Bethesdan, which is just north of Washington, D.C.
Of course, in Bethesda.
In Bethesda,
I'm gonna guess.
that's right. In a couple months for Tapestry Collection. I guess when this airs, it will have been opened. And then Curio Collection just opened a hotel called the C. Baldwin in Houston in the Galleria. Very exciting. And that hotel is completely renovated. We're also opening a new hotel in New Orleans called the Higgins.
Oh, cool.
And that hotel is connected to the World War II Museum. And so it's very much has that entire vibe when you think about the rooms themselves feel like that era.
Well, that's good because I'm opening up a hotel called Higgins, but it's just going to be about Tom Selleck's co-star.
And I really enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, it's going to be really successful.
Yeah, you feel like it's going to be a Tapestry Collection hotel or a Curio Collection?
I'm thinking I'm going to shoot for both, Jenna.
Oh.
All right, so we're going to have the first dual-branded hotel
Collection
that I'm going to build. All right, so, but seriously speaking, when it comes to partnering with owners, how creative can they be? Because I know it's a soft brand, so there is a lot of freedom for them, but there has to be some sort of rules that they have to follow.
Yes,
right?
there's definitely.
So how does that work that you're able to partner to complete what the vision of the owner has and still fit within, a brand, even though it's a brandless brand,
Right. I mean, in essence, both collections make up the sum of each of the hotels. So you're as good as the company you keep.
Right. And
very much we think about that in the forefront. There are parameters. I don't want to use the word standards, but there are standards, whether you think about fire, life, safety, and legal. We must adhere to those, and those are the same throughout Hilton. And when you think about by Hilton, so we're a collection by Hilton for both of the collections. And when you walk into that independent hotel with the marquee of whatever the independent name is across the top, there's a plaque that has the collection name by Hilton, and then you have honor sign at the front desk. And that's important because that by Hilton is the reassurance to the guest. They're going to get their honors points, and they know there's that stamp of approval. And as well, there's those other pieces that you get with Hilton, whether it's the comfort of knowing that there's going to be cleanliness, a great bed, Wi-Fi, those simple pleasures that you're going to get, breakfast. So with owners, when we think about standards and we think about requirements, it's really about that base level. So with Curio Collections, it's those refined finishes, and you must hit a certain level, especially around room size or amenities finish level within a bathroom. Some of those expectations. And with Tapestry Collection, there's a little bit more leeway, especially if you're in a city center location, but you're still having those certain level standards. So we don't maybe necessarily allow for luxury vinyl tile in Curio Collection, but we would allow for it in Tapestry Collection. But it still has to be a certain standard of luxury vinyl tile or LVT. That would be a technical difference that we would look at. But overall, we really want owners to keep it really unique, keep it really different. We find that hotels that create that story, that really tie that through, and they tell that story not only through design, but through the identity and the culture, they do fantastic.
That's really fascinating to me. And I just love where we're going right now. And it seems to me that when we're talking about this, I think level of finishes really says it. So you say you've got to have something that looks this cool.
Right.
But the way it looks cool is up to you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And we might give recommendations like don't do that fuchsia carpet with that weird vinyl on the wall. But if that hits that standard and they really believe in that,
then go for it. I love this whole category that's come up because it really partners with the best thing that hotel companies can do with delivering the people to the front door while allowing hoteliers to be as creative as they'd like to be.
Yes,
right?
and you find so much people, the guest wants those Instagrammable moments. No matter what their stay type is, they want those moments that are meaningful. And owners love that too.
Yeah.
You have so many owners that have many other properties within the Hilton family, and now they want to take their independent property and make it also part of the Hilton family. And we don't want to change it.
No,
We want to keep that essence.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think that's so important, especially for what customers are looking for today, right? Nobody wants to have that cookie cutter look anymore where you get confused about what city you're in. And that's why you see some of the classic brands out there really loosening some of those standards. But when we're talking about soft brands, it's really about design and creativity and creating a great sense of feeling. And I think that's what it comes down to with each of these respective brands, is not necessarily what it looks like, but how it makes me feel as a guest, and creating that consistency of feeling across the entire portfolio.
Yes. And we are so focused on conversions because of that. We want those hotels that are already independent and already that gem in the neighborhood or that marquee hotel that can join the collection and really just build off the Hilton engine.
Right. Awesome. So let's talk about you a little bit, Jenna.
Okay.
Right. Let's hope this doesn't freak you out too much. But you really have done an exceptional job at Hilton, and you've really achieved a lot in a relatively short period of time. How do you discipline yourself? How do you learn? What's your strategy every day to be the best professional that you can be?
In terms of learning, I learn every day. I think everybody learns every day.
I try hard not to.
Yeah.
It taxes my brain.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
I will always want to be a sponge. I want to understand how all the different levels work and why, and how it all works together. I find being able to understand and relate then helps you be able to build and look at the big picture. I think when you look at the best leaders, they're able to stay high and look above the trees or think strategically, but dive down and understand what's happening underneath and then get back up. I've had amazing opportunities, and there's been great leaders. Hilton has so many great opportunities and mentors. I mentioned Diana Vaughn earlier.
I'm glad you brought up, because I was totally going to segue into the mentor-mentee relationship.
Yep, and she was fantastic and is fantastic in terms of her mentorship and her thought leadership and being able to think through something, whether she's your manager or she's your somebody you can go to and think and look through something in a different lens. But we have others. I mean, I look at what Chris Nacetta and Matt Schuyler has done. I mean, being the #1 best place to work in the U.S. this year. #1 for women. They've really taken our culture and elevated it as you think about just the opportunities and how we think about as leaders.
Yeah, and the company in all is crushing it on culture. And it sounds to me like they have an environment where they want you to grow professionally.
Yes, I've had so many opportunities because of some of if I think about working through the IPO or getting to help launch Curio or getting to help launch Tapestry collection or some of helping launch Signia Hilton. So I've had great brand launches with Signia Hilton with Dave Marr, or being able to work with development, and just throughout my career, Matt Whaling in development, being able to work with him. So I've gotten to work with many different groups, which has been a fantastic way to understand how the company works, the business works as a whole.
Right. That's fascinating. So tell me a little bit about how, when you're presented a challenge that freaks you out, how do you go ahead and say, yeah, I'm going to do it?
Always say yes. I think that being scared is okay. But the reality is, I believe that when you take a step back and you look at a problem and you need to know what's the optimal solution, then you can figure out how to get there.
Right.
And with Hilton, there's so many people, we're hospitality at the core. People want to help. People want to get there. And so I have found that everybody wants to work together for that common good. So knowing what that common goal is, people want to get there together. Excellent.
Where do you hope to go in the future? Or maybe that's just an unfair question to ask, since you're just starting this new position.
I want to be a CEO one day.
Yeah, nice. All right, look out, Mr. Nacetta. Someone's coming
Not
after
yet.
you.
No, he's good for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's awesome. So how do you continue to make sure that you're learning and growing outside the corporate environment?
There's so much opportunity there too. I've had the opportunity to do my MBA part-time while at Hilton. And we did that through IPO, and executives would let me leave a meeting because they knew I had to get to class.
Wow.
And so it's that type of leadership that's so impressive. I've also worked through, reading books. There's so many great books out there, meeting people, going to the hotels. I was just at a hotel, earlier today. It's Team Member Appreciation Week, and we went to a team member rally, and that's so uplifting because those people are in the hotels every day making the magic happen. And it's that hospitality, that smile, and that's the difference. That's what we are.
Awesome. What advice would you give to the men and women just getting out of college, just starting their careers, and look at you and say, I want to be like Jenna one day?
Oh, I don't know if that's true, but always be a sponge, to what I was saying earlier, leaning in. And it sounds so like what you're supposed to say, but truly follow your passion. Because I think when you're really passionate and you say yes and you want to be part of that and you want to learn, it makes all the difference. And that positive attitude, those people that work for you and they want to be there and they're positive, even if they're not loving it, but they're positive, those are the people that you want back to help you on the next thing. Yeah, it sure is. All right. Is there anything else that you feel that we need to talk about today? I'm feeling pretty good about it. I feel great about it. No, I would love to have everybody come explore our hotels. We're going to have so many more open over the next year. Go to tapestrycollection.com or curiocollection.com and just see the vast array of hotels out
Wow,
out
I got to
there.
tell you, for someone who has never done an interview with me before, you jumped right to the shameless plugs, and I'm very proud of you for that. That's pretty awesome. I want to thank Jenna for being here today. Jenna Hackett, of course, she runs the Curio and Tapestry brands over at Hilton, and I've had a fun time talking with you today, and I've had a fun time having you guys listen to our show each and every single week here on the No Vacancy Podcast. Please subscribe if you haven't to our weekly newsletter. Text the word hotel to 66866. Yes, it is just that easy. Look at your phone, 66866, text the word hotel, and you'll be in and get our Sunday night newsletter. And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, find them on iTunes and everywhere you find your podcast. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week. That is, unless I get lost up in upstate New York looking for the Curio Hotel. I'm going to totally go fishing.
Perfect timing right now.
I can't wait for that, and then I'll bring it back home, and I'll smoke it on my Traeger grill at the Houseman Pool Club Resort and Smokehouse. I'm very excited about that, Jenna. And a little known fact for all of you guys still listening at the end of this podcast, my nickname when I first got into the hotel business and worked at Hotel Business Magazine was Sponge Boy. So take that to the bank. That is, I say that
and
because
now everybody will call you that.
Yes. Learn. Soak up all the information that you can, and one day you will be able to have successes like we've seen Jenna over here have, and the success that I pretend to have here each and every week on No Vacancy. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Had a good time listening. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to No Vacancy, the hospitality industry's #1 podcast, with your host, Glenn Hausman, online at rouse.media, on Twitter at Traveling Glenn, and on Facebook.com/Glenn.Hausman. We'll catch you next time.